Growing your vegetables. My presentation today is to make members aware of the dangers of eating vegetables from our marketplace. Before I start that, I want to quote President Kimball, who once encouraged members to grow all the food that you feasibly can on your own property. Berry bushes, grapevines, fruit trees, plant them if your climate is right for their growth. Grow your vegetables and eat them from your own yard. Even those residing in apartments or condominiums can generally grow a little food in pots and planters. Study the best methods of providing your own food. Make your garden neat and attractive as well as productive. Now here, considering the quotation from of President Kimball, what are the options available? I would think one of the best option is hydroponics. Now, these are reasons why I'm pitching and rooting for vegetables to be grown via hydroponics. Firstly, it can be grown by anyone, even those living in apartments and those who do not have garden space. All you need is a yard about 8 feet by 8 feet, which is about the size of a balcony in an apartment or the smallest room in an apartment. Secondly, it tastes a lot more sweeter, tastier, fresher, and even crunchier. Why? Why is that it's much more tasty and sweeter and fresher than the ones grown on the soil? Because they receive all the nourishment and the nutrients they need to make them grow. Thirdly, some say it is costly to install equipment, but what is to have vegetables on your table during hard times, when vegetables are scarce in the market, during times of difficulty such as economic crises, wars, and economic downturns, the vegetables grown from the home will be far more worth it. Besides worth it, it may be a lot more cheaper in relative terms when the market prices of vegetables are much more expensive. So for that reason, it's all more worth it, It is healthier, number 4. Why? Let's see. In these images, I'll explain why it is healthier. I have, for about 2 years, have grown vegetables, kangkong, bayam, and sawi in a land about the size of 30 acres. Okay. And my experience in growing them, it was shocking to me to notice how much of chemicals that were intoxicated into vegetables that we have eaten. And there's no regulators, no government authorities will come and check what you're applying, whether you are keeping within the rules, whether it is within the law to use certain chemicals. Some chemicals are banned, and yet they've been applied illegally. Now, I will show you from now what it means. Now, you see these kangkong vegetables? It is fully grown in 3 weeks' time. And in 3 weeks, 2 kinds of sprays such as malathion and some other chemicals are sprayed almost every other day, just to keep the bugs away. Now you see bayam here. Bayam is even more comically intoxicated with 3 different types of chemicals, sprayed and sprayed and sprayed, just to keep the bugs away. The sawi, Hong Kong sawi, so to speak, is the far worst of all. Most of the chemicals, about 5 different chemicals are sprayed on the sawi within the last 3 weeks. It's sprayed and sprayed and sprayed just to keep the bugs away. Now the bugs that are attracted to sawi are so strong that these chemicals will not kill them. It only to avert them. It keeps them hiding under the bushes, under the leaves, under the grass. And when there's a rain, when the chemicals are washed away, they will jump and hop over to the vegetables. Now see these images of grapes here. Can anyone guess what do you think the stains are, the gray stains on these grapes? Many of the times we just eat them without even knowing. And the reason why because we have not been told, even if you Google search what these white grapes are, they would not allude to it. Now, many times the grapes eaten unknowingly, and we don't even know what kind of effect, and the trajectory of the effects is unknown. Now, how do we? Now, then you may say, what about organic vegetables? We may say, let's go organic. Do you know that most of these organically grown vegetables are not organic? Why? Why? Because there's no one to regulate these chemicals sprayed on the so-called organic farmers. The inspectors who gave the certification for organic visit them once a year. So what do you think will happen during this 1 year period of interim? During the interim of 1 year. These farmers have a difficult time growing and surviving and making a living in the market. So farmers will do anything to cut corners. Now there are two requirements to qualify for certification. One is that your land must not have had chemicals for the last 10 years. And the other requirement is that your neighboring lots, neighboring farmers should not be using chemicals such as rubber estate lands and oil palm, where they will spray chemicals all over the year, throughout the year. So if you are far away from this kind of lots, you will be entitled to certification. And technically, when you talk about organic plants, they should be grown many years, many generations, until they are able to survive the onslaught of insects and pests attacking them. Now, if they have gone through a few generations of growing and regrowing and growing, and then they will produce what you call the organic seeds. That is how. But this is not the case. So again, we really have a world where we are being cheated on most occasions. So when you see a certification saying this is organic, do not be taken away. Unless you know the farmer yourself, you can be assured that it is quite safe. But otherwise, most of them out there are trying to make a quick buck out of branding it called organic. And most of the time, when you see an organic fruit or vegetable, it will be generally a little smaller than the non-organic ones. The non-organic vegetables are pumped in. It's just like kampung chicken compared to the normal chicken. The normal chicken are pumped in with chemicals and puffed up, so that you can sell off the chicken at a profitable price. And the kampung chicken are thin and small. Likewise, the organic vegetables are normally smaller. Organic fruits are much more smaller. Organic vegetable sellers claim that they can produce vegetables a lot more bountifully compared to the non-organic ones. So we really don't know what is in the chemicals, but you really need to know the farmer before you consume it, before you buy vegetables and under the branding of organic. Lastly, do you know that farmers dread the rain? The normal conventional thinking is that they love rain and it helps the plants to grow. No, most farmers hate the rain. Why? Because the rain washes away the chemicals which they have sprayed on the vegetables. The rain washes away the seeds that have been planted on the ground. The rain also washes away the manure that have been just planted, has been placed in the next to the plants. So the farmers really hate this rain. So in fact, most people now would cover the whole vegetable plots with some kind of a shade to keep the rain away. Why? Because it is well entrenched into the vegetables, and so it is difficult. It is some kind of oil. So that's why most of the times when you buy vegetables, you don't know who you're getting it from. There's no regulators. There's no one to monitor the kind of chemicals that have been sprayed, and some of them are illegal. And when the rain washes away the chemicals that have been just sprayed on the vegetables, it will be another day of spraying chemicals again. So to avoid this being washed away, what the farmers do these days is that they apply a certain glue that will mix with these chemicals and insecticides and pesticides, and they will apply it on the vegetables that will remain in it for a longer time, and it's more difficult to remove them. Just imagine in the case of grapes. Imagine how difficult it is to wash away the chemicals on the grapes. I know of one farmer who has sprayed chemically all this glue onto the vegetables and himself had cancer. What goes around comes around. So this is it. Farming is difficult. Farmers have to survive. Financially, they will be on an onslaught. If they fail, then they will have 1 year of losses. And farmers, as much as in agriculture, is the most riskiest of all businesses. It has the highest number of people committing suicide because it is so risky. it is in a world that it is unknown, uncharted territories most of the time, because you'll get bugs that are beyond your ability to even imagine. And sometimes farmers are themselves at a loss at what to do with these vegetables and how to treat them and how to protect them. So looking at the above reasons, hydroponics seem to be one of the best because it helps you to, one, be off the grid and to be independent of the market during difficult times and during worst of times. Now, we can still have vegetables even if the world is in a turmoil, and hydroponic vegetables, of course, to have a cooling effect. One of the things that we do, because putting plants in your home helps you to have a better memory, helps you to be more healthier, helps you to be more happier, and also helps you to be more settled down. As we live in nature, there's a connection between happiness and nature. Those people who live with plants and animals tend to be more happier. So there's a increase in there's a correlation between a happiness index with nature. People who live with plants tend to be more happier. And lastly, one more reason, besides making your home more beautiful with greens, do you know in hospitals you often have a nice scenery of a nice view? Why do you think the hospitals invest in giving you a nice scenery from the bedside? It is found that according to research, people recover 30% faster if you have a nice scenery. And which means the hospital becomes 30% more efficient, and the hospital is 30% more, 30% less medicine is used to help people recover. So having a nice view, even in your home, will make you a lot more happier and healthier. So this is my take on why we need to go hydroponics, besides the healthy and good reasons, other good reasons. It also makes you happier and also healthier. Thank you.